Today's Republican Party is so desperate to undermine President Biden's leadership that the RNC just posted this tweet trying to embarrass the president, I guess, for petting a dog. Here's the backstory. The president was in Maui, visiting the scene of the horrific wildfires that devastated the island. And one of the workers greeting the president was accompanied by a rescue dog that had reportedly been searching for survivors all day. So President Biden stopped to pet the dog, as I would have, as any dog owner I've ever known would have. I want to make a larger point here about how differently our two parties react to these kinds of disasters. I used to hold a senior leadership position in a major disaster relief organization, and I said all the time that our political differences disappear when disaster strikes. For the vast majority of Americans, that is still true. We set aside whatever partisan disagreements we might have, and we get to work helping each other. But I cannot help but observe the overt partisanship coming from the right every time another natural disaster strikes. Case in point, here's a Fox News report on the massive storm that swept over Baja and slammed into California. Just listen as one of the Fox hosts blames the Biden administration for, quote, letting it right into the country.
Story tonight. The wrath of Tropical Storm Hilary. 42 million desperate souls in the path of the storm, which made landfall in Mexico several hours ago. But they let it right into the country because it's Biden's America. Its impact far from over. This is the first tropical storm to hit California since 1939, when Joe Biden started his Senate career.
I don't know how weather works over at Fox News, but in the rest of the world, in the real world that is, the president can't just shut a door to keep a storm out of California. Some days it feels like the intense partisanship coming from the right is actually making them dumber. Thanks for listening, everyone. I've got a quick break here, but I need a favor first. Shows like this depend on your support. Please, if you can spare 5 seconds, click the link to the podcast version of the show below and leave us a 5-star review. It really does help. Thanks. Now, it stops being funny when Republicans choose to allow disaster victims to suffer because of their politics. Before Trump came to office, I never would have imagined that was possible in America. I've been on the ground as an aid worker in the immediate aftermath of tornadoes, floods, hurricanes, even a Category 5 typhoon. Whenever I encountered people suffering, their politics didn't matter in the slightest to me or to any of the people I was serving alongside, or I assumed my government. If you look at how the Biden administration has reacted to the disasters affecting Americans, that holds true. Whether it is fires in Hawaii, floods in California, ice storms in Texas, or hurricanes in Florida, our current president sets partisanship aside and does everything he can for the people he serves. Here he is, pledging to support the residents of Maui for as long as it takes.
And for as long as it takes, we're going to be with you. The whole country will be with you. We will be respectful of the sacred grounds and the traditions that rebuild the way the people of Maui want it built, not the way others want it built. We're going to rebuild the way the people of Maui want it built. But it's going to be hard. America's deadliest wildfire in over a century. And Jill and I have what's left, walked Front Street, what's left of it. We've surveyed the damage from the air as well. The devastation is overwhelming.
This seems like such an obvious thing for a president to do. So why am I driving this point home? Yeah, I'm annoyed that Republicans would attack President Biden for petting a rescue dog while visiting a fire-ravaged community. But that pettiness, I believe, is a sign of how partisan today's Republican Party, led by Donald Trump, has become and how they view their fellow Americans. I want to end with this exchange I had with Miles Taylor a few months ago, who served in a senior role in Trump's White House and witnessed firsthand just how vicious his partisanship could be, even in the aftermath of a disaster that was killing his fellow Americans.
I mean, this is sick stuff. Really, really sick stuff. And of course, the only answer to that is no and absolutely not. And then at some point it needs to be, I'm resigning in protest. And amidst all of that, and there, it could just go on and on, from domestic terrorism to, national emergencies. I mean, when there would be hurricanes or wildfires, look, if they affected a blue state, Donald Trump would pick up the phone and call us and say, do not send aid money. They don't like me there. He didn't even disguise the motivation behind his request. It was like, blue state, blue governor, Gavin Newsom, California, he hates me. Don't send money to the wildfire victims. Mr. President, their houses are literally burning in real time. No, don't do it. That's we all know who that Donald Trump is. You didn't have to be in the administration to see that.